Good, happy Tuesday morning, September 3rd, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. We have a lot of news this morning, so let's get started. First up, massive flooding reported as Hurricane Dorian stalls near Bahamas. At least 5 people died. Hurricane Dorian came to a catastrophic day-long halt over the northwest Bahamas, flooding the island of Abaco and Grand Bahamas with walls of water that leaped into the second floors of buildings, trapped people in attics, and drowned the Grand Bahamas airport under 6 feet of water. At least 5 people died and 21 injured people were airlifted to the capital by the U.S. Coast Guard, Bahama officials said. "96-year-old Dorian evacuee comes to New Hampshire, meets great-grandson. John Graham left Orlando ahead of the storm." Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
"96-year-old John Graham lives just outside Orlando. He's braved plenty of hurricanes over the years, but for Dorian, he played it safe.
This one's bad. My daughter thought I should come up here, and I did.
He's staying with family in Nashua until the storm passes. John flew up yesterday, just barely.
I think we got the last flight non-stop in the Boston area that was available. Saturday, Sunday, or Monday.
Evacuating can be a big hassle, but for John, this has been a very special trip because of who he got to meet.
Oh, high five.
Oh, there he goes. He's going high five. Look at that.
John is spending his first moments with his 2-year-old great-grandson, Jackson.
The first thing he did, he came in and gave me a big hug. And I thought, boy, what a boy.
The distance made it tough for them to meet, but they're making up for lost time, sharing lollipops.
Give him the fist, Dad. Yeah! There you go.
And working on their handshake. 4 generations of Grahams together on one couch for the first time.
I think I met my great-grandfather when I was around the same age, so I don't have the memories of it, but the photographic memory is enough, so he'll cherish it.
And there's a lot to cherish. 94 years between these new best buddies.
It was wonderful seeing my great-grandson for the first time, and he's a wonderful boy.
In Nashua, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Red Cross volunteers from New Hampshire heading to hurricane zone. Londonderry woman to handle deploying people to areas damaged by Dorian. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
Red Cross is all about preparedness, responding, and then recovery.
Pins lining the Red Cross ID of Susan Kritz represent every storm she has been deployed to. The Londonderry resident has been a volunteer for the organization for the past 5 years. Tomorrow, she will fly to North Carolina as the state prepares for Hurricane Dorian.
I'll be going to Raleigh-Durham, which will be the headquarters for the North Carolina operations.
Kritz expects she will be deploying people to the Outer Banks in areas that are in Dorian's path.
We'll be opening up shelters. I'll be getting nurses, physicians, and emergency medical technicians in each of those shelters, along with supplies. We've been told to prepare for 60,000 people.
The work does not stop there.
Then we have to fill in thinking about feeding people, and then getting out into the community to take care of the people who don't make it to the shelter. So we do it all.
She says there's an entire team ready to provide help to anyone who needs it.
We're kind of a full-service organization. So, I represent disaster health services, but we have mental health people going. We have people who go to help take care of animals. We have people who go to take care of people with disabilities. We have people who go for logistics. The list goes on and on and on.
And with a major storm like this, the Red Cross will need help itself. If you'd like to donate, you can head over to redcross.org. Tom?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire family in Florida chasing hurricane. Merrimack family heads to Florida to chase storm. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
Well, Ron Moore and his wife and one of his sons are there to measure Dorian's impact. They live in Merrimack, but he has roots in Florida and did some graduate study work there on hurricanes with FEMA. They'll visit family, but this trip is all about storm chasing. All eyes are on Hurricane Dorian and the devastation it's causing in the Bahamas. Because it's such a powerful and concentrated storm, the difference in impact of even 50 or 100 miles could be enormous.
I think they're prepared, but they're not really flipping out. They're doing pretty good.
Ron Moore figures about a third of the coastal buildings he's seen are boarded up and stores are closed, but gas has been available. He and his family live in Merrimack, but have relatives in Florida. They flew down Sunday, driving today along normally busy Route 1 from Melbourne to Vero Beach.
So I would not say life is normal. I'd say probably 90% of the traffic is not here. By this evening, everybody will be gone.
Moore is a storm tracker. They'll be measuring wind speeds and logging impacts, including on preparedness and planning.
So keep people informed, hopefully get some data, and learn some things for the future to make forecasting better. That's what we do it for, and we do enjoy it. We like to travel and everything.
He says it appears emergency officials got preparations going plenty early, but as the wait drags on, he senses a kind of storm fatigue among locals.
I don't think they expect a Cat 3 or 4 to hit, and no one else does. So they're taking that. So if the storm did do something really crazy on that 5% chance and come back and hit the coast with Cat 3 or 4 conditions, I think it would catch a lot of people off guard.
His family, like most of Floridians' East Coast families, will hunker down overnight when the true impact should start to be felt there. That as folks in the Carolinas continue their watch. Live in studio, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire officials kept busy with hiker distress calls. Fish and Game responds to 3 rescues Sunday evening. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
And it's been a busy holiday weekend for Fish and Game and other first responders after rescuing multiple hikers. A 35-year-old from Massachusetts reported himself lost on Mount Moosilauke in Benton around 6 last night. Officers used the GPS signal from his phone to reach him. Around the same time, a Massachusetts woman hurt her leg on the old Bridle Path Trail in Franconia. Volunteers helped Fish and Game carry her down off that trail. And firefighters and conservation officers rescued 2 women from Rhode Island who were dehydrated and stuck on a rock slab on Mount Cardigan. Fish and Game says that is one of the most difficult hikes in the state.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Elizabeth Warren holds house party in Hampton Falls. Elizabeth Warren spends Labor Day in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
First in the nation voters just checking in to the 2020 Democratic primary are going to quickly find out about Elizabeth Warren. The Massachusetts senator spent the summer building momentum by calling for big structural change.
I think she's smart, and I think she's tough, and I think she's fearless.
In Hampton Falls on this Labor Day, Warren touted her plans for universal child care, free public college, down payments on Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, and much more, funded entirely by a tax on the super wealthy. The campaign estimates would raise $2.75 trillion over 10 years.
How do you respond to those economists who say it's too optimistic?
Look, we had economists who ran the data. Lots of people have had a chance to check it. You know, I even had math teachers who said, show your work. That's what we did online. And everybody says, if anything, it's a pretty conservative estimate.
While Warren has risen on the strength of her policy plans, she's still contending with voters who question whether she can defeat President Donald Trump.
How do you respond, or how do you convince that voter who's just looking for the 21st century version of a return to normalcy?
You know, I think we have to acknowledge what's broken in our country, that we have a government today that's just working great for those at the top, but it's not working for much of anyone else.
The New Hampshire State Democratic Party convention is this upcoming weekend, and it's a big opportunity for Senator Warren to try to win over different voting blocs within the party itself.
For me, that's what running for president is all about in 2020. It's reaching out to as many people as we can.
In Hampton Falls, Adam Sexton, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. WMUR meteorologist Haley LaPointe gives birth to baby girl. Take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
So tonight we'd like to congratulate Haley LaPointe and her family on their new arrival.
Take a look at beautiful little Callista Marie. She was born Friday morning. She weighed in at a whopping 8 pounds, 15 ounces. Haley and her family are all doing well as she rests at home, and she wants to thank everyone for all their well wishes. She's been hearing from a lot of WMUR viewers tonight.
And the viewers have been telling us in every story
asking
us, how when's Haley having her baby?
And she finally did on Friday.
It
Congratulations.
really is
for
great.
Growing family.
All right.
Very cool. And all of us here at the Riley King Network would like to congratulate Haley LaPointe and her family. Dow futures fall more than 150 points after new U.S.-China trade tariffs take effect. U.S. stock index futures were sharply lower Tuesday morning after the world's two largest economies began imposing new tariffs on one another's goods. You can only imagine the horror. 8 bodies found, 26 people missing after California boat fire. More than 24 people remain missing after 8 bodies were found in the water. Nearly a 75-foot commercial diving boat that caught fire early Monday morning off Santa Cruz Island, California, sending the crew diving overboard and kick-starting a desperate rescue effort, according to authorities. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.